Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 43. It is a Monday here in Cincinnati. Beautiful, a little sticky, a little cloudy, but beautiful. And this morning when I went for my run, it was right as the sun was starting to come up. And I run in and out of this neighborhood that kind of weaves with the roads. So sometimes the sun is on my left, and then it's on my right, and then it's in front of me, and it's behind me. I'm constantly moving in different directions, and I love that time of morning because there are these little peaks of sunshine, and then houses block it or trees block it, and then the sunshine comes through again, and sometimes my shadow's in front of me, and sometimes it's behind me, and it's just an interesting time of day to watch the way the light plays as I move. And today I was running looking for the sun because it was a little cloudy when I started. And I always have this moment of, I guess it's warmth, but it's also just joy. When the sun is right there in front of my eyes, it's like when you see a sunrise or a sunset at the ocean. There's just something majestic and calming and expansive about it. And I was coming around one of the bends in a little cul-de-sac, and there was just this perfect moment where the sun was right there and it was coming through the trees, and it was a really cool play of light and dark. And so I stopped, like I often do on my run, and took a picture of it, and that's the picture I'll use for today's podcast. So as I continued running, I kept picturing the way that it looked in the camera versus the way that it looked in front of my eyes. And in the camera it looked very dark, like black and yellow, very contrasting. In reality, as I was running, it wasn't quite that dark. And so I was just thinking about all of that. You know how your mind kind of goes when you're in that space and your body's just in a rhythm of movement. And I kept coming back to how what we focus on is always what expands. And when we're focusing on the light, we keep seeing more of the light. When we're trying to find the light, we keep finding the light, more of the light. When we're focusing on the darkness, we see more darkness. When we're focusing on expanding the darkness, we get more darkness. And we need both in our journey. The sunshine, the sunlight wouldn't have been as majestic if there wasn't that contrast of the trees that it was coming through. But where we're putting our attention is what we create more of. And I just kept thinking about that as I was running, wondering, how do we align more and more with the visions, the feelings that are expansive, the vistas that delight us. And a story came to mind from this weekend, so I'll share it with you because I love stories. My mom was over this weekend. She recently had knee surgery, and my dad was going to be out of town, so I loved it. I'm like, yeah, we're going to kidnap you, and you can stay with us for the weekend, and we'll get to hang out with you and pamper you, and I can see how you're doing. And there was this moment on Sunday where my mom had shared an email that one of my beautiful aunts had sent to her, and it was very inspirational. It was about how much people worry. And as many of us know, when you go through a surgery, there are so many worries, and in the recovery of the surgery, they always tell you the things that can go wrong, and it's easy for our minds to focus on that. And so my mom had been focusing on a lot of worries. And my aunt sent her this beautiful email, and it said 85%, science studies have showed this, 85% of what people worry about doesn't actually happen. And the other 15% of those things that we worry about that do happen end up teaching us a strength, or strength is really the best word, a reserve of energy that we didn't know we had inside of ourselves. So the 15% of things we worry about that come true actually make us stronger or better. And the other 85% never even happen. My husband was sitting on the other couch listening to us talk about this, and he goes, well, that adds up to 100%. He said, so that means 100% of what we worry about isn't even anything we should be worrying about, because even the things that do happen are going to be bad things. I love that. I love that. And so I bring that into this podcast space on a Monday morning when there's so much we could focus on worrying about for the week ahead. Are we going to get everything done? How will we navigate whatever worrisome areas are showing up in our lives? Blah, 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 right? We could go on and on about all the things that we could worry about. And we set ourselves up on a Monday morning for all the things that are going to go in the worst possible way or not in the highest vibrational way. 85% of that will not happen. 15% of it will, and it will make you stronger. So there you go. So I just kept thinking about this the whole time this morning, and this idea of light and dark and the contrast. So here's a shift in perspective that I'm offering for all of us, that I'm bringing forward. What if, instead of allowing our minds to always go to the worry, what if we change that word and that feeling, and we focus on delightful surprises? One of my mentor teachers used that phrase a lot when we were working together, surprising and delightful and surprising, or I forget how she merged them, but the two were always locked together in my mind. The surprises aren't going to be ones that are negative or throw us off track. They're going to be delightful. And because they're surprises, we can't predict them. We don't know what they're going to be, but we're knowing in advance they're going to be good. And so when we focus on that, these delightful surprises start to happen in our day. And when we're looking for them, we find them. When we're talking about them with our friends because they've happened, more of them happen. We expand the delightful surprises instead of expanding the worries. So one of the fastest ways to shift our vibration always is to change the way we're thinking and to watch the language that's coming out of our mouths. So here we are, Monday morning, wide open week of whatever is going to happen. Let's set the intention together that we're allowing delightful surprises all day, every day. And we focus on looking for them. We focus on talking about them. We celebrate when they happen. We expand more delightful surprises. We allow more and more and more of them. We share them, we talk about them, we keep expanding them. Even if 85% of the things that we think might happen as delightful surprises don't happen, 15% of them will. So we're taking the same percentage and we're applying it to something really good. Doesn't that feel better? Right? We're putting ourselves into a space where really magical, wonderful things can arrive. And we just allow it. We don't even have to go create it or make it happen. We're just open to those beautiful experiences. They can be as simple as someone letting you have a parking space when both of you arrive at the same moment of entering into the parking space and who gets to go. They could just wave you in. It could be someone opening the door for you. It could be someone sending you money they owed you, they forgot about. It could be a conversation where someone gives you a compliment. I mean, delightful surprises are in every experience of life. We simply focus on them and expand them and celebrate when they happen and allow more of them. So let's make it an experiment this week and just see what happens when that is what we're focusing on. And then evaluate. At the end of the week, evaluate, how did it go? One of the women that I've followed before, she called it an evidence log. She talked about a similar, I forget the words that she used, but it was like looking for evidence that there's abundance in your life. And she said, so you always want to write down every time it happens, keep a log. So when you forget later that good things happen, you've got a log of it. Another one of my friends has an incredible gratitude practice. And at night, she'll write all of her gratitudes down. It's pages and pages in her journal of all the beautiful things that happened in her day. And more of them keep happening because she focuses on it. So you can take the practice as far as you would like to. But the invitation for this week is, let's just shift the language, the perspective that we're using from worrying to allowing delightful surprises. And then we'll see where it takes us. So fun. So much fun. Thank you for tuning in to today's vibration. Let's take this message of pure love out into all of our communities and continue expanding love here on Gaia. So much love from my heart to yours.